Would anybody else like to address the board?
I will. Helen, 147th Street. I wanted to address the mayor and the board concerning the EMA director, Daniel Rybak. He's decided to take his opinions to social media on many occasions. Today in particular, his post causes reasonable concern that he will not perform his emergency management duties during flooding situations. I request that the board review a copy of his post and that you address for the concern the public safety of our residents by removing Daniel Rybak from his EMA position. It is reasonable to believe that his opinions may impede his ability to assist the flood victims, which he refers to as, and I quote, Scumlothian, the special breed of human waste, end of quote. He also states that he thinks he has, quote, finally convinced Sharon not to run for mayor again, end of quote, because of these people, and because they sent a man to his parents' house to talk about flooding and demand flood photos while making intimidating remarks. It isn't appropriate for the EMA director to be advising our community in this manner. The fact is that Gert Rybak was very public in speaking about flooding and showing her flood photo collection in this room and to her neighbors for years. The fact is that one of her neighbors asked Gert to share those photos for the purpose of proving that a study and solution was needed in that area, and she held significant amount of evidence. The photo evidence was going to be submitted to the Army Corps of Engineers and Metropolitan Water Reclamation District. The repeated attempts to lie and discredit the successful efforts of the volunteer flood group are a testament to the lack of integrity of the small group of people surrounding the mayor here at Village Hall and at the park. It's not any secret who you are. In closing, I'd like to state that it's absurd to believe that a mayor would not run for office based on a resident action group's efforts that have achieved huge success totaling millions of dollars for this village. Reasons not to run for re-election would be the inability to follow policy, procedure, ordinance, and participation in regular attempts to mislead the community with inaccurate statements. Our resident action group has earned a great respect of many. We work hard, and the results are going to benefit the residents of our community for many years to come. Our actions speak for themselves, and we're leaving a legacy to be proud of. And I'll give you all a copy of what I'm talking about. Can you hand it, Gary? Thank you.
Do you concur with Mr. Rybak's sentiments that they're scum and they're a special breed of human waste?
I did not even see Dan's post this morning. I apologize.
And he's convinced you not to run because of this special breed of human waste, so you must have thought about it.
No, it's, we talked about me running again, yes, and I told him without support from the community, I really don't feel it's in my best interest to try to continue to be mayor, and that, you know, when I'm done in next May, then I will just, you know, move on. And it didn't have to do with one group of people or one person or any one thing. It's just a culmination of all of it. And
Well, he was certainly specific.
I understand that.
And all the wet deficit people and all the ridiculous, there's like a handful of people whose names I got in an envelope, because believe me, I've done my research and talked to an attorney as well. I'm not an idiot. IP addresses are traceable, and I chose my community and pursuing efforts with all of the agencies while not suing my village first. So I have to sit here and listen to this garbage, and that's what it is. It's lies. All these published lies are shameful, and not for us, because we keep rising above it all. So if you're going to put something out there, it should be truth. And so the guy he's referring to in there, here's the guy.
I'm the person. How do I earn this? I'm the one who's been out there for 19 years, up to my knees in water, pouring rain, cleaning off the sewer caps. You know how I met Joe and Gert? She thought I worked for the village. She says, you and my husband are the only ones who I ever see cleaning these lids. So for all that, this is the accusations I get. I think I'm owed an apology.
And you were invited into their house.
I was invited by Gert into her house when I asked her for the photos. And I says, no. I says, I just came from work. I work in dirt. I work on equipment. I says, no. She goes, come on in. We talked. We've been on good terms for 19 years. I in no way, shape, or form intimidated her or Joe in any way. She said she didn't know where the photos are. She said, if I can find them, I'll ask Joe. She says, give me a few days. I did. I went back. I talked to Joe. He says, they can't find them. They probably got thrown out. She knew what they were for. We needed back information. She probably has the largest collection on Ridgeway of anybody. Army Corps of Engineers wanted an additional information. I thought it would help. End of story.
That's a far scream from him demanding old pictures and intimidating remarks. It's a far scream, and this is really disappointing that it's still your family and it's still your friends. It's really disappointing. If you're going to say something, it should be a fact.
Thank you for your comments. I will recommend that Dan Rybak be removed as the EMA director, and we can act on it at the next meeting. Are there any other comments?
Can I talk?
Yes.
Evidently, she wasn't there. He might have been there, but he wasn't on the other end of the conversation. My parents told me they did not expect him to be in a manner of harassment. They do not think that was his intent, but some of his statements were intimidating to them. My parents are in their 80s, and they felt, and they are on the other end interpreting what he said. Therefore, it was their interpretation of his word. Now, he's gone into my parents' house, and he was there twice, and that was their interpretation. He was there to intimidate and harass them when he left. Now, he may not have intended it, but his statements come across to my parents that way.
And he's a special
And I
person.
thought it.
Helen?
And she wasn't there. But my guess is this lady and this trustee back here knew exactly what they were doing when he went there. That it would come across as harassment, and it would come back to me and my family. And it did. And you know what my family did? We sent my nephew to live with my parents because we felt that they needed extra help and security in their household because of this. Now they were not there, but they all got comments. If his comments were not meant to be harassing or intimidating, then maybe you need to watch how you discussed it with them. My family as a whole is insulted by this. And as far as me as the EMA director, when they assigned it to me, I made it clear I could only do it part-time and that it would be very difficult with my schedule to do it at all. I have no problem being removed, and my understanding is they were looking for somebody to take the job. So as soon as you can get that person, please take them. But as far as somebody entering a household, my parents' household, and talking to my parents in a way that they make them feel intimidated, yes, folks, you earned the name. If that's the way you want to go, and that's the way you want to do things, harass and intimidate 80-year-olds. Have fun.
Real scary.
Are there any other comments from the public?
I don't believe this is how we want to treat our residents. I can't even believe this is just disgusting. I mean, they deserve an apology for God's sake, I mean, you call them the scum loaf, you call them the special breed of human waste. I mean, we're not supposed to be treating our residents this way. I mean, I can't,
But you directed at me?
somebody,
Okay, well then, how many people in this room have parents in their elder years that they would be a little insulted that somebody came to them and that this is the message to parents? I can only tell you what my parents told me. They did not feel this man was there to intimidate and lie, but his comments came out as intimidating and harassing.
The only thing I'm trying to do is help the flood.
And you don't get to use your political office to intimidate us into seeing and interpreting things your way. I took great offense by it too, especially you suggesting that this, Midlothian, is the reason for Rybak to resign. How about the $88,000 that you and the rest of that group refused to talk about? And it would be the idea.
Well, again, it was directed to me.
All right, we are done. We are done. This is not a debate. It's open for public comment.
Then that was my comment. He's a public official
I
who
understand that.
uses his position as a public official rather than going to the police. Meaning if he believes it, and I'm not doubting that he believes what he just said, but he should have gone to the police rather than on Facebook and sitting there and writing what he wrote on the same evening that you have an award sitting up there in that board, little U-shaped whatever. You have disgraced that seat, and he has joined you in that disgracing, and he has no confidence, and he should quit tonight then if he meant it about not caring about leaving. Nobody trusts him. He did it himself. You appointed him. You begged the board to agree. That's on you. That's why you're not going to be running. You've been a really terrible mayor.
Thank you. Yes.
I just wanted to say that I'm 80 years old. And if somebody came to my house and I felt like they were intimidating me, we have a police force here that I would have no qualms about calling them. So I think if his parents felt intimidated, they should have had the same option to call the police.
Thank you. With no further comments from the public, I will close the floor to public comment.
and lastly, I gotta say this, on behalf, at least on my behalf, Helen, Dina, Kathy, everyone else with Midlothian, I apologize. I can't, it really bothers me that you guys get treated this way. The work you guys done, the money, the millions of dollars you brought to this community to finally tackle flooding, it's disgraceful. Sorry.
Thank you.
But the successes really outweigh the negatives. They do.
That's-
Just one success after another.